Live streaming is on.
Like mine is stable. I'm below a terabyte on my container drive, and that's running both mainnet and pre-prod. And it's been up for 14 days. It's been synced probably for 12 or 10. And like there were some issues before, but like it seems the container is just getting smaller and smaller. So where it was at 863 gigs, now it's down to 653 or something around there.
Yeah.
So it's not it just takes a while for it to stabilize. But again, like you said last week, like my nose not being touched, like I'm not available for anybody. So I don't know how that might impact things down the road. But right now, just it's still running and it's overall it's stabilized and it's using less space.
Right.
That's great. I think your node should not be shut down. My 2 cents, and I will explain why and some plans that I'm trying to figure out with Martin for next steps with all of you, of course. But Ratio, that's great. So for everybody listening or the rest of us, the thing that did fix at the end this size bump that we were experiencing on some of these nodes was then this wall setup on the database, right, to confirm, because you're not doing anything else. Okay.
I think so. But for some reason, yeah, when I did it, like you have this assets syncing, and it starts syncing all assets. And maybe sometimes it will stabilize, and for me, it just didn't stabilize. So yeah, it's a part of GraphQL which is just not working in the current size of the asset table. It's just too big to do all that work that it's doing now, and so I disabled it to make it very easy to sync. Yeah, I would like to integrate C snapshots and also make backups available of DB-Sync so we can easily, get started instead of syncing everything. But that's next steps. For me, with the changes, it's working. But yeah, I just tried. I didn't have time, so I just tried to do an payment address query on GraphQL. That didn't yet function in time, so I think it still times out. But I just installed the indexes with the install database command. So probably the indexes I didn't install the indexes on the new database yet, so that probably makes it not function fast enough. So I think if I can make that query, we should be able to just say this is good enough for now, and yeah, we have a plan for the future.
Okay, Gabe.
I think Q still had his hand up. No? Okay. My
No, but I don't know if
question-
anybody answered my question either. Just so you know.
I think they were saying no, don't turn your node off yet. If that was your question, I think that's what he was advising. My question to both Martin and Adriano is more concerning on the Postgres initialization, right? Because if the last time I remember we had a discussion about when to initialize this, potentially waiting till tip might have been too late. But if you do it too early, certain tables don't exist, and indexes fail. So my question would be, Martin, when do you think the best time to input those indexes are? Because if we do it at tip, it can take upwards of just under an hour. at least on my machine, when I was, at least the size of the blockchain currently, it's pretty big. But yeah, that would be my question. What would you recommend as far as doing those indexes?
Yeah, mine was like pretty fast this time. So maybe it was already done with that work. But I think if we don't have the assets thing, it shouldn't be that much trouble to do those indexes. I think you could do it at the end, but
Guys, I have some news regarding this. Actually, Gabe, you are always doing these great questions. You are always getting ahead. Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. The answer from now on is forget about it. That's the promise. That was the promise to make it this automatically, to run automatically. So this is the thing I was working on, beyond Koyos, some other improvements on Dandelion. So this is automatically fixed now, and I want to share some news regarding this. This call is going to be important because there are some news, there are some good news, there are some bad news, and there is some planning that we need to plan because of the new things. So Martin and I, we were working on two paths, because from now on there are going to be two paths to solve, or to when you want to deploy a node, you will have to choose, because Cardano is not making us the life easier. So you will have to choose between GraphQL or anything else. GraphQL, it's way too outdated, and since time now, it has been preventing us to fully deploy Koyos or anything else, any newer API. There is a strong incompatibility now that is impossible to fix unless we really spend a lot of time on GraphQL to fix it, or do some very weird magic. Another solution is to deploy like 2 DB syncs concurrently per network, which is, it's crazy. It's not a good thing. So the thing is that GraphQL should be left behind, or at least we can try to maintain a branch of Dandelion Lite to keep GraphQL alive on that branch. But because it's dying, to be honest, it's not compatible with the newer or suggested way to work with DBSync. We are forced to take this decision. I finally got to realize this some days ago, and I was like super angry. But it's impossible, guys. We cannot fight against this. So what Martin is doing is great, because he's going to help all the nodes that are going to be running or decides to run GraphQL. It's going to ease the processing there. It's going to, perform better. And I am working on this Koyos branch, which will be the future. Maybe we can have other APIs, of course. But now the system will be more performant, more lightweight, and up to date. So yeah, that's the news regarding the initialized Postgres, which was it's a good question. Some other systems that use this, actually, the creators of this idea of this initialized Postgres design thing, are running it kind of from the very beginning of the of the sync process even. But the thing is that things can go wrong. You cannot plan for, things that may go wrong on some setups. Like, for example, if you're a queue, you have no socket issues, and we don't still know why. So, so the thing is that, and this is how others are solving this, like the Koyos team. They are retrying, because these scripts are prepared to be run again and again without failing. They're not adding information or something like that. They're just preparing, setting indexes, creating schemas and stuff that cannot, if you run it several times, it's not going to create issues. It's just going to take time and processing. So the thing is that what I've managed to do is to make a cron job, right? A job that runs frequently, and that will try to apply this until it's applied. Once it's applied, so some schemas are appearing there. Literally, I'm using these two ones, Koyos and this other one. When these schemas appeared on the database, it stops, right? If something accidentally goes wrong, this cron job will auto heal or auto fix the thing. Okay, so the the answer for your question is forget about it unless you're having an issue. Okay, if you're having an issue, then you can run it manually, and you can run it. You can even run it when everything's wrong, when it's very early, and nothing serious, terrible is going to happen. You don't have to worry. This was a copy from the first log that I had on this automatic run of this script, and everything failed. Don't ask me exactly why. I'm still debugging. But the thing is that 15 minutes later, because of the cron job, everything got fixed automatically. These are the errors, right? Of course, it's terrible. You want to die if you read this. But it's basically saying, okay, the schema does not exist, so I cannot process A, B, C, etc. So it's not doing anything. This failed. But then everything runs again 15 minutes later. Once it's done, you see there are no errors here, and when it's done, the job automatically quits if it finds the right schemas. So this is how we can forget about this for good. In the same fashion, there are some Koyos initialization scripts that are running the same way right from now on also. A very tiny one, but works very similarly. And there are a lot of news. I'm going to try to be quick, but the other good news regarding Dandelion Lite in general is that everything related, for example, to cron, to this global cron container that runs these cron jobs, these scheduled jobs. Now logs and scripts are mounted on the host operating system, meaning that you have like a hot reload. Everything you modify will take immediate action without rebuilding the container, and you can check logs live. Like if I go, these are the logs. If I check the logs, this is running live. I don't know if we will have the the lack of reading one of these updates during the stream, but you will see how this code will just show you the logs even on the same screen. This code or whatever you're using. I like to connect through my notes with SSH, using VS Code, and it's a great user experience if you want to develop or do some stuff. So these regarding the scripts themselves, you can modify them. For example, here, these are the Koyos scripts. This is the one that I had to add. For example, I can make a modification right here, and it's going to work on the next run of the cron. So it's live. Okay. No need to rebuild. And the other thing that I added to the repo is a testing suite that it's very nice. It's working very nice now, but can be improved even. That runs, for example, a lot of tests, like 102 tests for Koyos to ensure it's working. And the good news, guys, is that at least for pre-prod, 103 tests, and we are okay matching. I mean, comparing with the official Koyos deployment. So what I'm saying is that for Koyos and for anything else, there is a testing suite now available on Dandelion Lite to ensure quality of service and to compare, because we can compare between our own nodes. How are our own nodes performing? You can change the point of view, the reference where you're running tests against, and we can even compare between nodes. So these are the news. Regarding the wallet now, I have a huge challenge, like I've been having it for forever, that is replacing GraphQL. And the challenge now is that because Koyos, for example, if I switch to Koyos, and GraphQL are not compatible. So it's going to be hard to orchestrate a migration, because the wallet from one day to another is going to point not to GraphQL, but to Koyos, right? And the thing is that we have to deploy some GraphQL nodes and some Koyos nodes, because once again, you cannot run GraphQL and Koyos at the same time. So this is where, for example, Ratio comes in, because Ratio, your node, is working very good with GraphQL. What we can do is to keep that node alive, and any other node that is running GraphQL that is on sync and is running properly, we can keep those alive to have a bit of redundancy for when the wallet switches, right? Or until the wallet switches. Then you're free to move to Koyos if you want. But at least we can orchestrate this to have a bit of redundancy, guys, if you want to offer, of course, new nodes for the wallet. And other nodes, like, for example, Q, that is having issues. If we keep having issues with Q, maybe we can just try the new version with Koyos, so Q can stay up to date to the newer version. This is not terrible for the guys running GraphQL, because once when we are going to migrate to the new version of Dandelion Lite, it's great. Your node is on sync. The only thing is that we will have to dump the full database, to start from scratch with the database with Postgres, because Postgres, the issue with GraphQL is that it forces the database to be filled with tables that are outdated. That's the issue. That's why it's incompatible, because we're talking about two different things, two different databases, if we can say. Okay, guys. Yeah. Anything on mind?
I just wanted to say, I was just going to put it in the comment, but it seems like a very painful move to make. It's going to be for the better. I had to do a very similar thing with ARP Radio, where my entire database I'm having to restructure. So my indexer, I've had to restructure everything from the ground up, restructure. And, you don't realize the problems that you're going to encounter until you encounter them. So I would just say that, you know, for people like Ratio and Q that are running into all these problems, it seems like such a banging your head against the wall thing. But like in the developer experience, this is actually so valuable because we need these problems to bring their heads out. And I mean, Dandelions existed for all this time, and like it's finally going through the optimization here in the hands of GameChanger. So I'm glad. But yeah, seems like a huge thing to undertake. Adriano, I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if you see that integrating this into GameChanger becomes easier than you might have thought, because we were trying to make the square peg fit in the round hole before, and now it's you know, it's a lot of work. It's restructuring things, but I think it might be easier and for the benefit of everyone ultimately. But I did want to say that Martin, I don't know if I did something wrong on the Dandelion, the M2 Tech registration, but I couldn't get into my old pseudoscientist account.
Okay.
And I realized I never added the domain. So I went in yesterday and I created a new account with the domain there. And it looks like I'm starting to get my first little gray square there in May.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I broke anything by adding another account there. Just wanted to give you the heads up.
I can clean it up for you. If I could share my screen and then we can clean it up maybe.
Not an issue. I just wanted to let you know. You'll see. I mean, it'll make perfect sense to you, I'm sure, once you see it. But yeah, I don't know if I didn't add the domain or if maybe I didn't have it at the time. And when I tried to access it again, I don't know if I know what it was. I don't know if I used the same pre-prod wallet. I was assuming it was mainnet, and I forgot that the login is there. So yeah, I think that's what it was. Is it created a? It's because it's based on the pre-prod login. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, I see you are double, but I can't see in my admin panel. I can't see which one is the correct one because I don't see the one with the. So I have to check, but I will remove the other one. And guys, it should be all green, but I can't from here. I can't access my router from my cable company. And I realized I also need to open ports on my router to make those calls work. So next week, everybody's going to have green squares. I promise. And Adriano, maybe we can sync the database and make that backup sharing work. I can buy some hardware to do some FTP stuff or whatever. Like, I can buy a NAS for it or something. So,
what are y'all running?
I don't have it yet, but yeah, I can get something to make this syncing less of an issue because I think everybody here trusts everybody. So yeah, I think we should make that faster than everybody syncing for 5 days. Will maybe not be necessary. I hope.
Martin, my suggestion.
If you want redundancy on that FTP, I mean, just let me know because like I plan on getting some more drives, also some mechanical drives for my system, and I'll have to refinagle the NVMEs because there's so much PCI sharing that it's like this wasn't an issue. Like you had to worry about IRQs back in the day. Now you got to worry about PCI sharing with the CPU and the main chip and main board, chipset, whatever. Anyway, I plan on adding about 4 SATA drives to the node.
Wow.
I would also say that you don't have to add it in the system itself. You can add an external NAS that isn't necessarily tied to your drive. You could also add a PCIe SATA card. Honestly, if we're doing bulk storage, backups, things of that nature, we're thinking of volume being the bigger aspect of here. Platters, go platter drives. It's going to be cheaper. It's going to be easier to scale. And, we could have 100 terabytes of information that we all share with each other. And here the idea would be that instead of downloading just like the Docker images, we'll have like volumes prepared to where instead of syncing Ogmios from the beginning, you already have the volume included as well. So yeah, the storage is going to be like multiple times what a node would be, right? So it's going to be a lot more storage than the single machine would be. So yeah, it would be like, I would say it might be like Martin's talking about dedicating a server for FTP shares, because it's a lot of information and it's potentially a lot of bandwidth. Go ahead, Adriano.
Guys, Martin, what I would suggest is to allow every node to share a backup, for these volumes in a safe way, like we always discuss. If we manage to do that, then next steps can be manually done, depending if you have the hardware or not to offer the volumes. But the problem is that to make it official, from one entity, it's okay, but that could work for everyone here who wants to, offer. So instead of doing it officially, every node operator here can share their own, volumes. That would be awesome. Part of the repo. I mean, if it's a feature from the repo itself, and then you can use that if you want to put it on an NAS or whatever. That's another story. But the idea is that if we offer that, we are decentralizing. There's no a single point, of trust that has to maintain the thing in a centralized way. I mean, my 2 cents. The important thing is to like we always discuss, to be able to patch these volumes to remove every trace of privacy, stuff like removing users or passwords, that kind of stuff. Yeah, and remember, guys, that if we share volumes for the GraphQL version, it's not going to be compatible with the newer DVSync setup. So that's another thing to keep in mind for these 2 new kind of nodes. Okay.
Okay, let's wrap it up then, right? I think we had a good session here.
So I did have one other question, actually. I was having issues on the Postgres, so the Cardano SQL Postgres and the Dandelion Postgres. So it's obvious it's a port issue. So when I added my firewall, instantly those Postgres, when I go to my statistics report on the HA proxy page, instantly those go down. Once I remove the firewall and then restart, go Docker up, everything goes back up again. But like everything's exposed, right? So I'm thinking that there is something that I'm missing here. And I know Ratio, I probably should look at those docs that he prepared, but he was asking about all the ports that we need open for proper communication lines. It should just be the 3080 and the 3081 or whatever your offset is, right? But that's not the case here. Anytime I add a firewall to close everything else, I lose Postgres. Both of them.
I have 3001 and 8053 open, because that's what Martin told me in the very beginning that needed to be open. But I think those remain open on the server. I don't know about the router. I have to look.
Yeah. That's super weird. Gabe, we should review that, but in theory, just opening that port is enough for for the system to work. Unless you are like, are these outbound ports or inbound ports? Like you should be blocking, inbound. I mean, communication that are coming towards your node. Maybe something else is going on there with the firewall.
Maybe.
Or not. Okay, let's review that, but it should not happen because, for example, I have a firewall on all my nodes and works as intended. Everything going out through this proxy port. So,
Right.
but it's important. So yeah, let's check that out. No, we should not be opening other ports for the outside.
Well, I personally do, but it's because I'm using other services. It's very deliberate port forwarding, right? But yes.
No worries.
Yes.
Regarding those services, that's perfect. But regarding Dandelion services, only a proxy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm concerned there might be something else going on there, but there's I got it working now. It's just exactly. The block all incoming, and then just 3080, 3081. No. That's what I had, but yeah, like I was saying, those were the only two services that would be down, but I'll look further into it.
Okay, let us know. Let's talk about it. And after we finish the Dandelion Light updates, and we can wrap that up a bit, we can, or we should run some, at least open office calls for all of us to to help us all to update, to maintain the notes, everything. Then we will do that, but right now it's like makes no sense. But yeah, that's what I don't know, Martin, what do you think? But I think we could do that, but we can scale some days to do it, so we can all align to that, because otherwise we're doing calls all the week and not with all of us, and that's not beneficial.
Well, yeah, I think I'm interested in what is happening with the Quasar because it's very unusual. So I think
Yeah,
I will.
that's-
Do you have time today, Q, to check this out, or tomorrow? I have time now because before it was very busy.
I think you
Mark,
mentioned-
clear my calendar. They want to work with me. Yeah, I got time.
Very quickly,
So
it's not
let me know.
this size issue. It's not a this size issue, and there are other things that I've checked. Please review the chat history, because I made Q to run some tests to to see what's going on, and it's like a race condition, or that's how I think it's a race condition. It's like some other container is trying to create or access that socket, or take control of it, but Q is not running concurrent Dandelion lights, unless we don't know. But in theory, it's not.
I can share the screen now, but I mean, I've got time. We can do it after the game changer. You guys just tell me when. I'm here all day.
Okay, Martin, help Q, because I have some calls after the last live. If I can join after that, I will join. But basically,
Okay.
please review the checks I made Q to do, because
Yeah.
it's an X file. It's an X file.
I'm
Weird.
I tend to maybe first disable start on a new folder, disable all the services, and see if only the node will launch normally, because that's the one that's not doing it. So let's keep it basic first and see if it's a port issue or something.
It worked perfectly until some minutes later it stopped working. The node syncs, but suddenly it stopped working. And sometimes I think it auto heals, because then he starts syncing again. It's like a race condition.
Very strange.
Yeah.
Well,
Can I ask a
Okay.
question real quick?
Right.
It's all right. It's okay for me to like spin down the node and then spin it back up in 5 minutes. I got some hard drives I need to get out of my node, so that won't like whatever. There's no issue with me doing that and then spinning it back up. It's not going to nothing's going to change as far as rethinking or anything like that. No.
Just properly shut it down with the Docker down. Yeah, because if you force close those containers, it's gonna have to not rebuild, but it'll have to like check the database. It's gonna take about an hour to do that. Just yeah, if you do the Docker down properly, let it close properly, it should be perfectly fine.
All right. And then last question. So I'm going to do another backup when I do Docker down. Like I've already done a backup. I did it as soon as it synced up. Does the backup just overwrite? Like, does a new backup overwrite the old backup?
Yes, because otherwise it's going to be, very
Right.
space
Yeah, I
consuming.
get it.
So don't worry, everything's prepared to overwrite. Maybe just check that everything went well, that that all the files are created. But yeah, it's prepared to on that way.
All right. Perfect. Thank you. Now I got to
Thanks,
go.
Frank. Thanks
Have
for
a good
trying
day.
to orchestrate this with the rest. That's very, very pro. Thank you. Bye, guys. Okay, are we done with Nando? Can we continue? Okay, I will stop streaming. Thanks for watching.